Hey guys, still in my car here. I'm waiting to hear back on the job thing, and I left in very good standing, but just the nature of this job, you have to go through like a training program, so I'm waiting to hear back from the temp agency. So in the meantime, I'm just trying to take it a day at a time here. Right, bud? Right, bud? Hey guys, welcome to Claire's Carstead. It's kind of a little bit of a play on words here. I do watch some prepping channels. I really like Canadian Prepper. There are some others where, I take it kind of with a grain of salt. I find some of the information useful, but it sort of got me to thinking, is it possible to live in your car and be a prepper too? And this is kind of on the heels, Parky, and this is kind of on the heels too of, I will be honest, like sometimes feeling a little bit alienated from some of these channels. And I mean, they're fine, like to do, what they want to do, but I'm just going to be honest that it's hard for me to connect with some of them, especially like some of the women, and they talk about, their families, and I don't like really, I have parents, I have a brother, but I don't have like a husband or children, and I don't really, sometimes some of the language and some of the videos, which are fine, but it doesn't really include people like myself. So I think it's easy to feel like, I don't think that they mean to do it. They don't mean to like exclude people like me. I think that they're just kind of talking about like what they know and what they grew up with, and so I don't think it's like their intention, but it can make me feel a little bit kind of left out, kind of like I can't be as much of a prepper. And I know they would say, oh well, we're not saying that, but I live in a car, so I think there's some questions like, okay, well, can you prep living in a car? And I think that there's a lot of things that you can do while living in a car, and no one is saying, for one, I see income streams as an asset. So living in a car, no one is saying that you can't create income streams. To go into a library and take your laptop into a library and work on, there's a lot of things I don't know very much about, like trading certain crypto. That's something I'm not really an expert on. There's a lot of things that you can do, like teaching English. That's one thing I want to look into, is teaching English online. I already do surveys. I do rideshare. So I think no one is saying that you can't develop these avenues. Another thing that no one is saying is that you can't go, here, watch out, bud. You can't go and, no one is saying that you can't go and rent a storage unit and fill it up with canned food or whatever. No one's saying you can't do that. So, it's not like you have to have like a literal like plot of land with a house on it or a cabin to put things away for yourself. Granted, you can't really grow chicken, or not grow. You can't raise eggs and chickens in a storage unit, and I don't think it would go too well if I put a rooster in the car. I don't think Parker would get along very well with a rooster. So, obviously there's a lot of things that I can't do, but I still believe that there's a lot of things that as car dwellers that we can do. And also, living in a car, it also can put you in a better position sometimes, because if there's situations where there's food deserts, where we're seeing these Walmarts closing, we're seeing all this stuff going on, and sometimes and I'm not saying there aren't risks to living in your vehicle, so please, take me with a grain of salt too, please. But there is a certain advantage of living in your car, because you can drive to where the food shortages are not happening, and so there are certain advantages. So I think that it's time that prepping is not just a certain kind of culture in a way, if that makes sense. I don't think you have to live in Tennessee and own property to be a prepper. I think there's a lot of mental prepping too. I think sometimes, I don't think it's preppers' intentions, but a lot of times I leave feeling bad about myself after some of those. Some of the other channels, not really so much, like Canadian Prepper, I really love his channel, but there's some other channels where I can leave kind of feeling a little bit bad about myself, and I don't think it's their intention. Recently, an example is, there's this one prepper, and she's very well known, but I'm not going to say any names. And she claims that it's not safe right now for women to go to Walmart by themselves. And that was just hurtful to me because, you know, I don't have a husband to go to Walmart. She has a husband to go to Walmart with her. And she says, like, you know, okay, well, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I'm just saying the truth. Okay, that's fine. But it doesn't change like how I feel when I leave those channels. And therefore I don't end up watching those channels very much. And that kind of, just because I feel that way, sometimes that leaves, whether it's right or wrong. Personally, I disagree. I think she happens to live in actually a pretty dangerous part of the country. So, you know, but I think that prepping, it doesn't have to just be for like a certain subset of the population. I don't think that you have to own a ranch, and maybe that's better, I don't know. But I think there's this idea where if you're not in that place, then, you know, all bets are off. So, yeah, so I would just, yeah, and that sort of, it did kind of hurt my feelings, and it did hurt my feelings. So yeah, but then it's like, I still want to be kind of part of that kind of community in a way. So anyway, I'd be really interested to know what you guys think. Do you guys watch like prepper channels? Like, do you watch like Canadian Prepper or like people like that? I'd love to know in the comments. Parker, do you want to say bye? I finally set up my selfie stick after like, I've had this thing for like a year, but it just hasn't worked out very gross. That is nasty, but it just hasn't worked out very well. So it's kind of nice because Parker, like, he doesn't really notice it as much, I don't think. Mwah! I love you. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're not subscribed, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you would subscribe. Right now, according to my analytics, most people who watch this channel are actually not even subscribed. And to my subscribers, I love you guys. You guys are so amazing for watching my channel through all of the ups and downs and evolutions and changing my name constantly. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate if you would subscribe if you feel led to. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, so it would really help me a lot. Thank you so much. Have a good night.